There are flies that fish absolutely love. This is one of them. I first discovered the killer bug fly pattern after reading Morgan Lyles' excellent book, Simple Flies, and it's been a favorite of mine ever since. The materials for a killer bug are pretty simple. You're going to need a nymph hook, some pink thread, some Shetland's oyster yarn, and then finally some wire, either light wire or lead wire if you want to make it really heavy. Let me know in the comments if displaying it here is helpful. And then finally stick around to the 3-minute mark as I share a tip to make things easier. The first step is to tie on some thread, and it's okay if it takes you a few tries like me. Once the thread is on, go ahead and add a half hitch knot. I consider that sort of like fly tying insurance. Bring the bobbin up just a little bit to keep tension in the thread, which will help us for the next step. Once you've clipped the tag end off, you'll see here that I've got my wire staged in post-it notes. That's a tip that I picked up from Tight Lines here on YouTube. Take your wire and lay it on top of the hook. As you're tying it in, make sure to keep tension on the thread by adjusting the bobbin. Then wind the thread around the wire several times, like you're seeing here. Once the wire is tied in, go ahead and you're going to wrap the wire several times at the bottom of the hook. You're going to form a mass or sort of like a ball at that bottom of the hook, and I think that this gives the fly some extra weight. After you've done that, go ahead and take the wire and wind it up around the rest of the hook, which gives the fly, when it's finished, a little bit more of an even body. Then take a few wraps to secure your wire, and next we're going to go ahead and helicopter it off. Take the end of your nail and put it against the wire, and then pinch the wire with your thumb and pointer finger of your other hand. Rotate it off until the wire snaps. Here's the trick. I'll show you how to tie in the yarn so you don't cover the wire at the bottom. Bring your thread back down to just before where that mass of wire is. Now go ahead and tie in your yarn just above that point. I know it's simple, but it took me years to figure this out. No wonder I was a C student in school. Hey, I've created a free top 5 Tenkara fly guide. The link is in the description. Like I said, it's totally free, and get yours today. Once again, you're going to go ahead and tie that yarn just above the metal mass or the little ball that you've made at the end of the hook. Secure the yarn with several wraps of thread and then bring it back up to the eye of the hook. Once you've done that, start to wind the yarn up the hook as you're seeing here. And you're going to take really close wraps as you do that and stop just before the eye of the hook. Now you're going to tie off the yarn by taking just a few wraps of thread before and after the end, as you see here. Once your yarn is secure, you're going to go ahead and snip off that tag end. And then the final step is we're going to go ahead and whip finish the thread to secure the fly. Take 4 or 5 turns with the whip finisher tool, and then after, you're going to go ahead and cut your thread. And you'll notice there that I am holding the thread before I cut it. That's so that I don't have to re-spool my bobbin, and I can just tie on another killer bug, which you should do.